Kathleen Ellis here with part 2 of Presents with Presents. As I mentioned in the part 1 video, I like to pick a theme each year, a color theme, and last year it was pink and green, and I found such a great deal on wrapping paper and gift bags and ribbons and little embellishments that it's going to be my theme again this year, most likely. What I'd like to show you now is how, taking that theme, you can use a few different patterns. For instance, last year I found this pink and green Christmas tree paper, and I found this pink and darker pink. I also found the same pattern in a pretty green. It's kind of like a damask pattern. And then I found this pretty stripe. So the packages that were under the tree were in a few different patterned papers, but they all coordinated really nicely. I used just a couple of different ribbons. This green ribbon is one that I used. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I use when I wrap up a gift that's in a box or that gets wrapped up with gift wrap. I like to make a pretty bow, something like this. This is a gift that my very special friend Sherry, she actually wrapped several of these for me. There's nothing inside. I just like to set these around at different times of the year. She made me some that are more Christmassy. She made some that were fall, and then some that are just kind of springy and summery. So I set them around in little stacks here and there. It's just kind of one of those fun, whimsical things that I like to add to a vignette when I do it in a room. So we have this pretty bow here, and I know bows can be intimidating. Before I knew how to make a bow, I thought, how in the world do you do that? I'd never be able to learn that. And lo and behold, I discovered there are several ways to make a bow. There are some complicated ways, and then there are some easy ways. And you know me, easy and elegant, so I'm going to show you an easy way to make a bow. Now this ribbon, you can buy these spools of ribbon. There's actually 50 yards on here, and some of the bigger discount stores like BJ's and Costco, Sam's Club, you can get a spool of this ribbon for about $6 or $8. And this goes a long way. I stock up on these when I see them, and when you do see them, you want to make sure you get plenty because they only have them for a short time, a couple of times a year. So what you want to do is take some of your ribbon, and you're going to go back and forth making your little loops, leave a little tail. Okay, this is a little quick and easy way. Go back and forth, however many loops you want to make. We've got 3 on each side here. Let's do 4. I do like to make my bows nice and full. So we're going to do 4 loops on each side. So all you've done is you folded your ribbon back and forth and you're holding it in the center. Then you're going to take those really sharp scissors that I told you in the first segment you need to have and cut the end on an angle. The other end's been cut on an angle. I'm going to make it a little sharper angle. Okay. Then you take another little piece of ribbon, however long you kind of want your tails to be. Again, cut it on an angle. Take your loops, wrap that piece of ribbon around the center, tie it in a knot. Oops, we got our loops a little lopsided here. And this is the wonderful thing about it. Before you make it really tight, you can even out your loops so they're more the same size. Okay, and then tighten it up, double knot it. And this you would be able to tie onto the piece of ribbon that you've already wrapped around the gift. Then you just take your fingers and kind of fluff up your loops. Okay, and you've got a pretty easy bow that you can attach onto your package. Now I like to leave this flat in the center because I like to embellish like my friend has here. Here's another great example of, she actually used two ribbons here. She's got this narrow pink ribbon and then this wider sheer ribbon. She did this exact same thing. She just did a lot more loops. She made them a little smaller. She hot glued a few little floral pieces here, hot glued the rose, and there you have a beautiful package. Same thing with this package. She used two different ribbons. She used the pink through the entire package, tied it around, made her bow, and then she just made one other little bow out of a pretty sparkly white ribbon and tied that in there as well. And then she hot glued these little plastic pine greens and a rose, and there you have another beautiful package. And one thing she does, which is really clever, she keeps her eyes peeled for wallpaper remnants, rolls of wallpaper remnants. And she uses wallpaper for her gift wrap. It's really heavy duty and it's different, it's unusual, and she gets it for really, really cheap. So that's another little trick that you can tuck there in your notepad and keep your eyes out for. Now another fun way, and let me just show you here how this would work. This would be on your package. You would snip your rose off, you would hot glue that on, and see how that looks beautiful on this paper. It also works on this paper, and it would even work on this paper. However, probably what I would do with this paper, this has little Christmas trees and snowflakes. So I would probably take the snowflake and somehow attach that maybe with a little bit of feathery, poofy stuff underneath, and there you have a pretty embellishment for that package. And you can layer as much as you'd like on here. You start with your bow. You can layer just one item like a rose or a faux flower, or you could layer upon layer upon layer. However extravagant you want to get with it is entirely up to you. Another fun trick to use for a bow is to actually take and snip these loops. Remember to snip the ribbon on an angle. And then you have all these fun little loose pieces. You can make it a little bit fuller, a little bit funkier than your looped bow. So those are two ways to make a really easy, really elegant little bow. And then again, I just want to show you how easy some of these layers are. She's used just a simple ribbon to go around once here, made that little loopy bow that I showed you. She tied that on with this base ribbon, took her hot glue gun, hot glued some of these little greens, hot glued a little silk flower, a couple of other little pieces of floral items in there, maybe a few silk leaves, and look how beautiful that is. And you can do this in any color scheme whatsoever. If you like browns and golds or teals and creams, whatever, or even if you want to do a more monochromatic look, you could do that. Don't be limited by what you see here with the colors that I choose. These happen to be mine. That's what I have to show you. But you can do this in any color scheme with any elements. Remember even the brown paper with the twine and pine cones, greens. If you have a really rustic, simpler style like that, that's wonderful. You do what fits your style, and I'll do what fits mine. And it works really well that way. I will appreciate getting a gift wrapped with your special style, and you'll appreciate getting a gift wrapped with my special style. So there you have it. Those are some beautiful ways to embellish your packages. Stick with the theme, and as I mentioned in the earlier segment, if you pick a more neutral paper, for instance, this paper does not have to be used for Christmas. This striped paper does not have to be used just for Christmas. So you could expand that and have extra of that if that's your color scheme that you like to use, and have extras of that that you can use throughout the year for birthdays, weddings, you know, whatever special occasions you give a gift for. And remember, it's not how much you spend, it's the thought that you put into the present, and it's the thought that you put into the packaging of the present. When I used to be with Mary Kay Cosmetics, Mary Kay Ash one time said, you can wrap up a $2 item and make it look like $1 million, and the person receiving it will be thrilled. And that's so true. So many times I've received a really simple gift, not a lot of money spent on it, but it was just presented beautifully, and I could tell that the person had thought about me when they selected it, and then they thought even more about me as they prepared it for me and made it beautiful. So that's the key. Presents with presents. Put some thoughtfulness into it, a little bit of time. Utilize the tools that are out there to make it fun and make it easy and elegant. Have a wonderful holiday.